Friday, June 14th, day 324, and I'm at home on the old family homestead. And it's because there is a family birthday tomorrow. It's around 50 years, one of my cousins. There's a kind of age discrepancy on my father's side. There's a wind discrepancy here. Thank you, I've noticed you. Please stop. 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 Down. I came home a day earlier because when I returned from Greenland, I lived at home for a brief while my apartment was vacated. It was rented out. And until I could get it back, I lived at home for a couple of weeks. But while I did, I ran into our neighbor, a guy who, for the majority of my life, I think, at least for my whole childhood, I knew him just as the carpenter, because his name, which I will not say because that's a bit too private, I think, his name was the same as one of my childhood friends' father, who also lives here. So it was kind of a way to distinguish between the two. He was just a carpenter, and I have some fond memories about running around his workshop and him actually helping me build kind of different kinds of stuff. Probably he built the most part of it. I just came up with ideas, and I met him, and of course he is a good deal older now, and I said that I would stop by at some point and have a talk with him, just kind of to catch up. But then my apartment was vacated early because the guy who lived there found another apartment really close by. He lives across the hall from me now, and wanted that so he could stay in the neighborhood because his lease was ending, and I was using that to get a place to live. But that meant that I never got to visit the carpenter. And today I finally did. And I'm happy I did. Because it's an odd thing to actually meet someone you knew in your childhood or just a long time ago. Because quite often we don't realize that people are more than what we know of them, especially people who are a good deal older than us. He's more than twice my age. He must have actually been not really old, but at least somewhat up there when I was a kid. I never really thought about that. He's a good deal older than my parents. Well, yeah, a good deal older, in fact. But suddenly I realized how much more there is behind the facades of people you think you know. And I like that. I like discovering that there is more than just the surface. So I'm happy I did. Also, another blast from the past is my family found this. It's I'm trying to open it with one hand. It's pictures from my trip to China a good few years back. Well, it's half the pictures because I lost a roll of film. Yes, this is before digital was really that good. Not my old pictures, but when I was in Latin America sometime before that, I lost all the pictures because I bought a camera there, and I bought a cheap camera in, I do believe, Mexico. And surprise, surprise, it didn't work. I think it was 15 rolls of film, just nothing on them. So, but this, at least half of them, I'm going to scan them in so I have them in digital form. I wouldn't say I'm getting nostalgic here, but it's interesting to kind of see what lies behind you sometimes. Especially when you're thinking about what lies ahead of you. I like to have my eyes fixed on what's ahead. I'm not the kind who really likes looking back much. which is a problem when some of my friends wanna reminisce. But oh yeah, by the way, the sunglasses, the shades, they are not because it's especially sunny here. You may notice that it's getting kind of dark. It's early. Well, it's evening. It's not early evening anymore. But it's for the pollen. It's dropping now, but I wanted to film this outside. So it's protection for my eyes. But the things ahead, I've just published or made public the first batch of videos, of the educational videos. And the thing is, which I have problems adjusting to it, but I understand it and I accept it. But it's just kind of weird for me because of how I'm used to things from long ago. I sound so old when I say that. That you don't make something public on a place like YouTube and then find out how popular it is. You find out long after. It takes time. Even the ones that burst through with millions of views, a lot of them don't at first. Mine are not they're not gonna burst through like that at all. I don't think so. But that's kind of weird because now I've done something that's a big step for me, and I'm not gonna get the feedback on it. The video that I have that's now pushing on 6,000 views, which is kind of well, not a huge deal, but a slightly big deal for something in Danish, I think. No, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal for me. There are Danish videos, plenty of them that do it. It's usually some cute girl going googly eyes. Here I can't see that with my glasses, with my shades. But it's a big deal for me. But that was something that happened after a year, most of it. Most of it happened over the last few months. It's an exam video, so it's a seasonal video. The others are less seasonal. But it's a weird thing to kind of get the hang of. And maybe because of that, or maybe because of a lot of things, I've been thinking that it might be time to up the ante on it. Kind of aim a little bigger, aim a little higher. And I'm kind of trying to figure out how I can scale up things, and I fear that it will involve money. So I'm thinking about if I can prep up some kind of, not a Kickstarter, because that's, if you're not an American, it's kind of difficult because of financial transactions, stuff like that. But there are similar things that are pretty functional and popular, like Indiegogo, and I've been looking at it to kind of, when I kind of get a bit established, up the scale to maybe make it a kind of a global education thing. But that takes a lot of thought, and it's going to take a lot of work. So I got to figure out what I want to do with that. But that's basically what's going on. A bit looking back, a bit looking forward, and then just hoping that I don't burst out in allergies before I finish the German one after this.